Hi, this is Dr. Richard Ruling here to welcome you on the Total Health Channel. Thank you for being with us from time to time. Please like this, share with it, put it on your email, a link to it so others of your friends can see it. The title of today's talk is How Medical Care, Laws, Rioting, and a Best-Selling Book Reveal an Impending Fall of America. And that's actually the title of a book I have written, The Fall of America. You see it there. And you can get a copy of it from my website, thefallofamerica.blog, B-L-O-G, not .com. But take a look and see. It's got a lot of interesting information, and hope you can enjoy it. Now, on to the topic of today. Healthcare shows an impending fall of America because it's become a leading cause of death, of all things. I went through U.S. Senate with medical literature to show this, and you couldn't do that if you didn't have the literature, the goods, until one senator said, "You're wasting your time, they own us," speaking of donations that the drug companies make to their re-election. So, bad situation, and I have a website, by the way, Leading Cause of Death, prescriptiondrugs.com, and it shows how that the AMA Journal in tax day, April 15, 1998, showed 106,000 deaths in hospitals under monitored conditions from drugs properly prescribed and administered. Wasn't an overdose, wasn't malpractice, it was the right drug for the right thing, but some people just react badly. Bad situation, and it said that the medical care had become then the fourth to sixth leading cause of death. And 2 years later, the Western Journal of Medicine in June of 2000 said 199,000 died outside the hospital. So you add them together, inside the hospital in 98, outside the hospital as outpatients in 2000, 199 and 106 makes 305. That's the third leading cause of death. And since then, there's one more medical literature. The Archives of Internal Medicine reported a 7-year period from 1998 to 2005 and said the death rate had increased 2.7-fold. So multiply 2.7 times the 305,000 that died, and it's 824. It's number one, okay? But not mentioned at all, not in anywhere in the top 10 causes of death listed by the CDC, which is in business with the pharmaceuticals. They are liars. They ought to be exposed, but the media doesn't talk about that. They love the drug ads. You know, they make thousands and millions from those ads. And the drug companies are promoting their products, which are high risk. So anyway, that's, how can we, if righteousness exalts a nation, as Solomon said, this is bad news. We're taking poison. And that's the definition, really. A textbook of, Drill's textbook of pharmacology and medicine said that every drug is by definition a poison. It said that a drug action always represents artificial interference with the natural functioning of the organism. Well, if the drug is interfering with the natural functioning, and the natural process is to heal the body, okay? If you cut yourself, you put a piece of tape on it, and a week later it's fine. If you break a bone, you put it in a cast, and a month later it's fine. But if you catch the flu, the body tends to go to work and to reverse the disease process. But when we take drugs, and I'm thinking this coronavirus thing, bad situation for people who take drugs, because 99% of those that died in Italy, reported in the Bloomberg News, had pre-existing conditions like heart disease, diabetes, chronic lung disease, etc. And so if they were on drugs for these conditions, and did poorly, died. That's why the high death rate. Whereas other people don't have any pre-existing conditions, not taking many medicine or drugs, and might have a better diet and don't even have symptoms. So you can read between the lines and understand it. So that's the story for medical care. And my point that I want to share with you is that this information I'm giving you comes also from a best-selling book, the Bible. The Bible has clues for us and is written thousands of years ago. It's ahead of us, not behind us, okay, if we could understand that. The very first reference to physicians, plural, in the Bible is Genesis 50th chapter, verse 1 and 2, when Jacob, whose name became Israel, when Israel died, Joseph said to the physicians to embalm my father Jacob, or Israel. And what does that tell you? If they embalmed, and it said the physicians embalmed the body of Jacob. The point is that if they did the embalming, they must have been skilled at it and had a high mortality rate because of their clients. The patients died. It linked death with embalming and the physicians. Well, New Testament, John 5th chapter, Christ was walking in the streets of Jerusalem and came past a pool where lame people, halt, impotent, had difficulties laying there waiting for a angel. In mythology, that an angel would touch the water and the water would be troubled, and first person then got healed. Well, bad situation. People got trampled in a stampede to get in, and people waited endlessly for that opportunity to get healed, perhaps, from their problem. And Christ had pity on this one man, healed him. He said, "Rise, take up your bed and walk," and he did. But the point is that we have a modern parallel to this, because that pool was called the Pool of Bethesda. Bethesda, Maryland, is where NIH, National Institutes of Health, has a pool. Tax dollars are pooled there to do drug research. They decide what project gets the research and is going to offers the most promise of a cure for this or that or something else. It's a modern parallel. People waiting for a troubling of the waters and a stampede from the media to buy this new drug that's going to cure me. Well, when it really is lifestyle, and we did it to ourselves for the most part, if we would just figure that out. So the Bible, interestingly, has references to physicians, to Bethesda, Maryland, and to pharmakia. Okay, that's the Greek word for sorcery, badly translated sorcery in Revelation 18, verse 23, which deceives the nations. There's a call to come out of Babylon, fallen, and I'm saying America is like Babylon, because the medical system is bad, the educational system is bad, religions are, not protesting and speaking out for what they could be, and bottom line is we're going down, basically. And I want to give you some examples. When Christ was asked about the end of the world, he said to study the book of Daniel. And Daniel has some interesting stuff for our time. His first chapter is about government health care. The king had meat and wine and so on, and Daniel had to say, no, I can't do that. And he and his friends who risked their lives to offend, they courteously appealed, though, and they got a 10-day trial and proved better. And I think if we would give it a good, honest try, a plant-based diet would do us better as well than the king's meat and wine and dainties and things like that. Well, but Daniel is loaded with stuff for the future. Chapter 2 shows an image of a man with head of gold, chest of silver, thighs of brass, legs of iron. And these have represented the major kingdoms of this world in advance. Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar the king that he was the head of gold. But after that would come chest and arms of silver, and it names in the book of Daniel Medo-Persia as the next great empire. In chapter 5 it says that. And Grecia, which came hundreds of years later, also. Now, in a time when we don't know whether North Korea or China or Russia is going to attack us, here's God speaking hundreds of years ahead of time and naming what really wasn't on the scene. And I'm going to show you this in the next, in Daniel 7th chapter. There are not 4 metals in an image, but 4 beasts. And really, that's about what governments are, beasts. They tax people, they send them to war, bad abusive situation. But these 4 beasts represented those kingdoms of Babylon, Medo, Persia, Greece, or Rome. The 4th one, though, had interesting detail not shown in the image previously of Daniel 2. It was a dragon with 10 horns, and out of the head came a little horn that became very great and did bad things. 3 clues point to the papacy for this, okay? Number 1, it had a mouth that spoke great things against the Most High. One of the official titles of the Pope is Lord God the Pope. That's blasphemous. to claim that he is Lord God, the Pope, a human, coming from bad backgrounds. Second clue is that it says he thought to change times and laws, this little horn, and the papacy did that. If you look at the Catechism, it doesn't compare with any Bible. Even the Catholic Bible has it straight when you have no other gods, and the second commandment is, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. No idols. Well, their churches are full of them, so the Catechism gets rid of that second commandment, and then to still have 10, it splits the 10th commandment into 2. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, you shall not covet your neighbor's goods. Well, that's changing the times and laws. The calendar has changed and other things. We could go into it, but don't want to right now. It's just that, and also it says it made war with the saints. Well, the Catholic Church in the Dark Ages persecuted, and conservative historians say 50 to 100 million Protestants were burned at the stake or pulled apart on a rack. Okay, tortured. To recant and become and stop being a rebel or a heretic. Well, that's they were the heretic, and God will judge them ultimately. But God, most people don't know this, and there are many good Christian Catholic people, moral, try to live the best they can. They don't know what their church leaders are trying to do to take control of the world and force everybody again. But that's the role of the UN. And that's the vehicle that the Catholic Church will be using. And if you look at the head of the UN, Antonio Gutierrez, he's Catholic. And the head of the World Health Organization, they have similar views, and they're talking unity and solidarity and humanity, fraternity, oneness, common good. It's all those slogans for unity with the papacy, really. And this is not going to be good. Once they get control, it's going to be forced ID. The Bible gives the clues to this image beast. The image beast is made in the image of the papal beast, okay, in Revelation 13. It's really the U.S. that makes this image, and the UN is in our New York City area. But this image beast compels everybody to with a number. You can't buy or sell without it. So control will be coming via the New World Order, and we're giving it the power to do it. Let's throw it away. America's freedoms have done well so far, but we're in big trouble if we think that's going to solve the world's problems.